Speaking of cities, there's no longer Sex in the City. And I'm sorry, people, if you haven't watched And Just Like That, just... You're not doing your homework for this gay podcast because everybody should have been watching it by now. I don't know what to say. You either like the show or you don't like it. I only have a few comments. Jay, I know you have not watched it yet. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I know it's a very triggering subject for you.
It is triggering, and I think you need to convince me to watch because I read nothing but bad things about it, and I really thought this article was interesting about Wally. Is that his name? Their friend Wally, the bald guy, who's dead.
Oh yeah. Oh shit! What is his name? Willie Garson is his name. His name's Stanford. I think his show.
Stanford. Well, I read this article about how they kind of did him wrong. Like he was like on his deathbed, and they made him like be in a funeral scene, and then kiss Sarah Jessica Parker's character's ass, and like say all these like she's our modern day whatever she like kiss and kiss and kiss and kiss her ass, and he's like standing there dying literally.
Well, I don't know because I didn't hear anything about him having cancer before he I think died, which. Some people do that. That'd probably be my move because I don't want all that cancer sympathy. But he had pancreatic cancer.
I would.
I know you would, girl. But
I would want it if I were him.
I know you would. Pancreatic cancer is the one that, like, it kills you no matter what. That's what Alex Trebek had. But when I found out that, like, he was filming, I mean, maybe he wanted to. I don't know. I'm very conflicted about the whole thing. They said he's in 3 episodes. And I'm like, are they going to address his death? Because... Here we go, spoiler alert, it doesn't matter. Mr. Big dies in the first episode, which is great. Yeah. Because the only way Sex in the City, and I'm not the first person to say this, the only way Sex in the City, the reboot, was going to be fun again after that tragic second movie is if Carrie was out hoeing in the streets again. I don't want to see her in a domestic situation. I want her hitting the pavement, going on bad dates. That was the whole fun of the show, besides Samantha, which is...
We know that story. Is Carrie? Is she a suspect in Big's alleged murder?
They totally missed the opportunity to work that in. That would have been so good.
Oh my god, it would have been great.
She was at a piano recital when he had a heart attack. Which here's something I thought was funny. Now
she was at a piano recital.
Yeah, Charlotte's daughter. But here's what I think is weird because before she leaves, Big's like, I'm going to get on my Peloton. It's my and they say Peloton, brand name, which everybody knows. He's like, I'm getting on my Peloton for my 1,000th ride because he's like into the hot Brazilian instructor on the Peloton screen. And she's like, okay, honey, I'll be back later. And then he gets on the Peloton, does his workout, gets off, and immediately keels over. Like,
are they married in this?
Yeah, they're married.
Oh, so she's going to get, like, so much money.
I know.
Wow, another reason not to feel bad for that bitch.
I know. But I'm like, I wonder if Peloton really loves the fact that the character on the show got off their machine and died. Like, that's that's not exactly a good branding angle. But anyway. So the first episode, I'm just going to, and I'm not going to go through everything, but right off the bat, I'm going to say slow. Samantha is so... You don't even realize how much... I mean, maybe people do realize how much she brought to the show. Like, it's not nearly as funny. In fact, the jokes that are few and far between, and they're not good ones. They're all sitting together having lunch. I mean, nobody's sitting there. I need her to be like, oh, I just got my pussy eaten out on the way over here. Like, something like that to, like, cut through the tension. But there's nobody there. They didn't bother replacing her. They have like 3 or...
It was a mistake.
It was.
Somebody else in.
Sharon Stone. Get Sharon Stone's ass in there. She's perfect. Oh. Somebody... That's not my suggestion.
She's perfect, but she's way too good for that. Don't you think? No? You don't think
I don't think so. I think that would have been...
Oh, I do.
I don't know. Well, I think they should have not had somebody just be Samantha. Like, they should have made it a new character, but it should have been just like Samantha. But anyway...
Well, I think Sharon is like iconic and a kind of a legend. Like I know people throw that shit around, but I mean, Basic Instinct for Christ's sake. I mean, she's like a movie star, where those bitches on that show were TV stars. You see?
I do. I see your point. But I think that Sharon's
Like
body...
Sarah Jessica Parker, sorry, tried to be a movie star, but totally failed. So I don't really understand her fame story.
Wasn't that weird?
Like
They kept putting her in after Sex and the City. They kept making her like the ingenue of these movies, and I'm like, she's like not. It wasn't the right fit.
Right, she's too old to be an ingenue, and she isn't good. And the movie sucked and failed, and they kept doing it. And I don't know why she could never break through. Actually, I do kind of.
I think Jennifer Aniston had already Jennifer Aniston had already claimed that territory. Like they probably were going out for like the same parts or being offered. You know, they're kind of in the same.
There's
vein.
like a real. Yeah, I mean, there's like an obvious reason I think that Sarah Jessica Parker didn't make it in the movies. Like I don't want to say that's her looks, but it is. And I'm sorry, it is. She just isn't easy to look at. And my favorite Sarah Jessica Parker movie is Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yeah, well, that was like 100 years ago. She was in The Family Stone. I think that's regarded as her best movie because, other than what did you just mention? Heathers?
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yeah, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. But as an adult, she was really good in The Family Stone because Sarah Jessica is kind of like who was in Miss Congeniality, that Sandra Bullock. She plays the same character in every movie, and Sarah Jessica plays the same character in every movie. But in The Family Stone, she was like an uptight bitch, and it really worked.
Well, I mean, she's not a character actress, clearly, but I just feel like she's just. And it's so terrible to say that she's not pretty enough, but I just kind of feel like that's what it is of why she just didn't make it in the movies.
People do,
and the funny thing is really none of them did from Sex and the City, did they? I mean, none of those people were in the movies.
No, Kristen. I'm getting their name. Charlotte.
Davis.
Yeah, Kristen Davis. She did like some shitty Hallmark movie. Samantha. Yeah. Samantha has done some TV shows. Cynthia Nixon has done a couple movies. She and she's in this new show called like The Golden Age or something. It's kind of like they're rebooting Downton Abbey. Sorry, I'm all over the place, but and then they're doing like a show based in America in the Golden Age, which I don't know when that was. I wasn't good at history. And Cynthia Nixon's
why do they need to reboot Downton Abbey? Why not just continue it? Like
I don't know. Well, I think all those storylines were like donezo. Like there was nothing left to tell. And it was just I watched the movie. I did like Downton Abbey. I watched the movie and I was like, okay, it's over. Like, it's so over.
I like that one guy, really hot guy, that blondish guy. He's not even my type, but he's so, well, he kind of is. The hot, you know what I'm talking about?
The main guy, was he a servant or a person who lived in
I don't think he was a servant.
Mary's husband that died?
I think so. Let me look it up.
I wasn't really into him, but there was later in the series there was like they got like not a butler but like a guy to help around the house, and he was not educated and he was really insecure about being stupid, and I thought he was really adorable.
His name's Alan Leach.
Alan Leach. Well, I know the name, but now
he played Tom Branson.
Oh yeah, he is so cute. And he got a little chubby, and I still loved it.
No, I love chubby. I mean, I'm good with chubby.
I think I'm a chubby chaser. Yeah, I like him. He seems like he'd be fun. But anyway, Sex and the City. Okay, let me just hit on the fashion is so boring. Like, everybody knows that Patricia Field, the original costume designer, did not come back for this. I want to know why, because why would you turn that down? She always added like a rock star kind of element to all the clothes. And I'm not even like a big, fashion person, no gorge. But it's even apparent to me that there's something missing. There's no color. Now, granted, somebody did die in the first episode, so maybe the theme was supposed to be more somber or whatever. Here's kind of my issue. They're adding new characters to the show. There's like Carrie's on a podcast, but it's not even her podcast. It's hosted by a comedian and Bob. Yeah. It's not like the Carrie Bradshaw show. It's like the non-binary person and the comedian Bobby Lee. And then Carrie's just like there, like a sidekick. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh my God, that sounds awful. That sounds so awful. Would you listen did that in real life? No.
No, and the podcast is like, I don't know if it was intentionally cringy, but everything's about like, oh, the comedian's making these dumb jokes, and she's like, so let's hear from our cisgendered straight female, da 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 da. And then she hits a button like for a drop, and it goes, woke moment. And I'm like, this is awful.
Oh my God, no. And Bobby Lee is fine in small doses.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a big role so far, so he's cool there. But
Was he in the original?
no. Now they've turned Miranda into a Karen. Like she's offending people.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Really,
It surprises me. She's asking to speak to the manager. She's got the Karen haircut. She's back in school, and she has a black professor, and she starts commenting about her hair and braids and stuff. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, this is a 50-something-year-old woman who went to Harvard in the show. Like, she's not a bumbling idiot. Like, it's so weird. And then Charlotte is just like, she has nothing going on. I don't know what her life is. But I feel like they're making all the main... Here's my conspiracy. I believe they are trying to establish this show with the old cast, as much whoever's still living, and then pass it along to new characters. And all the girls are going to leave. That's my theory. Because it's not a hit. I watched the second episode. It was all just planning a funeral. They brought back some old characters, which was fun to see. But again, I know somebody died and it's a funeral. It's not supposed to be funny, but even when they handled heavy subjects in the past, they always found a way to add humor to it. And this was just a total downer. But now that he's dead, I hope they do like a Desperate Housewives time jump. And on the opening of episode 3, I want to see Carrie getting her back blown out by a hot guy.
It doesn't sound like very much fun to watch.
Well, I'm not good at like telling the story either, so sorry. I'm not a good storyteller, so don't take it from me. Watch it for yourself. But if you loved the original show, which I did, flaws and all, I just thought that this was like, I'm very confused. Like, who is this for? Is this supposed to get a new audience? Because I don't see people diving into this like, oh, this is the shit. This is the great new show. Like, it's purely nostalgia, but they're missing out on so many nostalgia elements. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like other shows that come back. Like, so I never liked Will and Grace ever.
Me either.
And they did the reboot thing with that, and I watched a little bit of it because it was playing at a bar that I was at, so I watched it. And I didn't really like it. But, however, I felt like they did. Like, they brought back some of the...
I thought they did a good job.
I want to say magic is such a cringe thing to say, but kind of the magic of the original. That's why it got like 2 seasons. Wasn't it on for 2 seasons?
Yeah. Because they really didn't deviate from the format at all. I forgot my biggest gripe about this new show is there's no opening title sequence. You know, Carrie in the fucking tutu, dun 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 dun. The whole fun of the show, it sets the theme of the show is kind of whimsical and shit. Nothing. All of a sudden, somebody's crying, and then on the screen is this horrible font. It just says, and just like that. I'm so offended.
Why did they change the name?
I don't know why. I don't get that either. Because I think nobody wanted to get their tits out anymore, so they were like, we can't put sex in the title. Nobody's here to get naked.
Oh... That's why.
And I'm not
even tried to take away from this horror theme.
Yeah, which I'm totally against. And I'm not an age shamer. I think they all look pretty great, actually. And I'm not just being cheesy, but I think people, especially women, get more interesting as they get older. That's why on the Real Housewives, when they try and bring in like 20-year-olds, I'm like, please stop. I want drunk women in their 50s. But seriously, nobody has Botox. Botox is not cheating. Like, they lift their eyebrows and there's like, it looks like crops on their forehead. Like, nobody could get a couple shots. Did they do like a pact? Like, we're not going to do Botox? I don't know. I feel like Miranda's husband, Steve, is like almost completely deaf and wears a hearing aid. I'm like, he's 55. Like, they went too far with the old stuff. I think they must have young writers because there's all this woke bullshit in there. They made everybody way too old. 50-year-old people do not act like that. Tell them, Jay.
Shut up.
They don't go around with injured feet and, hobbling.
Still hobbling. I think tomorrow I'm going to have a new boot because, I have my boot on. I had x-rays today. It's not interesting, but that's what's going on in my life right now, is still trying to get over this.
You talk about it. We don't have a rule that everything... What I just talked about wasn't interesting. Did it stop me? No.
I mean, it's Sex in the City. I mean, that's my life right now. I should be relating.